Hey, everybody. Welcome to the official Do Good Better podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Kirby. And of course, we talk with people who are going to help our small and medium-sized nonprofits. And sometimes the people who can help our small and medium-sized nonprofits are founders of small and medium-sized nonprofits. And with me today, founder of Hope Blooms, Kelly Krenzel. Welcome to the official Do Good Better podcast.
Thank you so much. We are so excited to be here today.
I'm very excited. What you do is so unique. It is so niche-y. It is so unbelievably awesome that I'm very excited for everybody who's listening to hear about it, because the backstory is great. The execution is great. And if you're watching this on YouTube or you see the video file on your favorite social media channel, behind you, you actually have volunteers doing it. But if people are scrolling through iTunes or scrolling through YouTube and they might not know what it is, I would like to give you the chance for a 5,000-foot view on who you are, what you do, and why we're talking today.
Sure. Perfect. Well, again, thank you so much for having me. Our mission truly at its very essential core is to create community inside and outside of our walls. And we happen to do that in a really fun way. So we inspire hope, happiness, and emotional healing through repurposed flowers. And so we take flower donations. Our nonprofit's a little unique in that we rely on donations of flowers and generosity through monetary gifts and supplies and things to run every day. And so we take arrangements that have maybe been used at a special event or weddings or a celebration of life. We partner with local wholesalers and grocers, and we take things that would otherwise be discarded but still have a lot of beautiful life left into them. We take them apart and we assemble them into beautiful bedside bouquets. And those are delivered out to our community members in need, all with one message: you matter. So really at the very core of what we do, like I said, is create community, but it's really, the flowers are almost the side effect or the after effect. And it's really just recognizing people for their pure value as a human being and saying, I see you, you may be going through a difficult time and you matter. You matter through all of it, and you matter in this community. I think it's pretty safe to say that it is absolutely crucial to our fundamental well-being as humans to know that we belong to something other than ourselves and something bigger than ourselves. And so that's really what we're trying to do, is foster kindness and belonging in our community. And we serve a variety of different populations. And Patrick, you're going to have to stop me if you want, because I could talk all day, my friend.
Listen, this is what makes this episode so fantastic, is because that's exactly the type of sort of inspirational, run through of what you do. And again, I love what you said about this, where it's less about the flowers that you deliver than the message behind getting people's mental wellness or well-being or joy back, in regardless of whatever situation they are. And not only do you do that, but you employ, I'm going to say this in general, a legion of volunteers to make sure that happens too, right? So this is not just you soloing out of a backyard, a greenhouse somewhere. You've got an army of folks helping, right?
Absolutely. Truly, without our beautiful community, Hope Blooms would not exist. And so while we started in the basement of my home, with my husband being my very first volunteer, 2 sawhorses and a piece of plywood scenario, and friends coming over, it's really with the help of our community our mission has just blossomed quite literally. And so we have hundreds of volunteers that come through our door every year. Copious amounts of teams, whether that's like a corporate team building, or maybe it's your church or your mom's group. Lots of individuals who come through our doors as strangers, and they meet this wonderful group of people, and they leave as friends and come back over and over and over again. Everyone from kids to, Betty, who's 87, has volunteered here. And so there's a place for everyone at Hope Blooms, just like there's a place for everyone to feel like they belong outside of our shop walls.
I think that's one of the unique situations too, is that if you're a nonprofit and you're looking to say, hey, why don't I have the engagement that I should with your volunteers, is look to somebody like Kelly, who is really revolutionizing the way that you can volunteer or have volunteers. So I'm sure you have a litany of these, but I'd love you to share with the audience sort of a success story or something that kind of made you just smile extra hard in a place that probably makes you smile way harder than normal on a regular basis for everybody.
Absolutely. So I'll just briefly tell you who we serve, and then I'll give you one of those beautiful impact stories. And so our mission really started out, we serving the elderly population. I was very much inspired by my sweet Grandma Freda to found Hope Blooms. I used to garden with her, and she was my very best friend and my best advocate, and just the sweetest person ever. And so I've always had a special place in my heart for our elderly folks. So I started out, we started out serving, and this will always be a core to who we are, to Hope Blooms, serving our folks living in assisted living communities, nursing homes, memory care, partnering with Meals on Wheels, getting, flowers out to homebound seniors, things like that. Really trying to plug into those different places in our community that also are serving this population too. And lots of partnership there happens there. And then we also, outside of that, we serve individuals just really going through a difficult time. Is that widows, attending a support group, women staying in our emergency shelters, if you can imagine them receiving a bouquet of flowers after they've, escaped a night of violence and they've never received flowers a day in their life. And that could be literally the spark of hope they need to say, you know what, maybe I will be okay. To folks receiving treatment at our local cancer centers, really kind of the list goes on and on, just looking for those pockets of people in our community who could just benefit from that extra reminder. And of course, as we've gone through the pandemic here, who couldn't, number one, but we've really tried to, we do lots of random acts of kindness outside of our core. We serve about 70 plus facilities and groups, types of our population, but we also do lots of random acts of kindness, like doorstep deliveries. That's a fun thing for us to do, is send some out with kiddos and families, load your kids up in your wagons and go door to door, pick a neighborhood that's not your own. Sometimes kindness is uncomfortable and it's like a muscle and you have to flex it and use it and get it into shape. So that's a really good exercise to do with kids. And then we've also throughout the pandemic, been serving our frontline workers and our emergency personnel, our educators at our local schools, daycares. Again, just looking for those people in our population who just really need it, because this is hard stuff. Life is hard, and it's especially hard right now.
Mm-hmm. Any thing that sticks out particular to you? It's like, what's like the one that you're just like, that was the best.
Yeah,
I'm going to do that again.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So yes, we have lots of those, and we say our bouquets end up, you can't make it up. It's magic. They end up exactly where they're supposed to be. And so one of my all-time favorite stories has to do with yellow roses. So there was a group of teachers in our, that we were working with for a volunteer activity. And there were 20, 25 buckets of flowers. There only happened to be one bunch of yellow flowers. And as you recall, all of our flowers are donated. They were yellow roses. And we give people really the autonomy to create what feels good. Just if you like it, chances are someone else will like it too, And so someone decided, I'm just going to make a bouquet of all yellow roses. And so when they were out delivering at a local assisted living facility, they came upon a gentleman who received this bouquet. And what's really fun is lots of times men receive our bouquets and they've never received them before. And so, but they remind them of someone. And so in this case, it reminded him of his late wife, because he used to buy her yellow roses every single week they were married. And he got the only bouquet of all yellow roses. And so that is absolutely pure and meant to be. So that's one instance. And we've got countless stories like that.
I'm sure you do. And I think in the countless stories of successes, there's always challenges, and especially for the entrepreneurial spirit of somebody who's going to have the audacity to start their own thing like this.
Yeah.
And over the last couple of years, challenges abound. What's one of them that you encountered, and how in the heck did you get through something so crazy and challenging?
Well, I think for us, like I had mentioned earlier, we are really reliant on the community 100%. We're reliant on flower donations. We're reliant on the donation of time, and we're reliant on funding. We're 100% fundraised. And so when you really look at what that takes just to, nonprofits have all the same hopes and dreams, and we need all the same things as a business, and so staffing has been really, just a challenge from the perspective of we've been here for 5 years and I've been a volunteer for almost all of it, and I'm the leader of the organization. So how do you find the right fit for the very, very slim staff that we have, with the flexibility of offering volunteer opportunities, nights, weekends, during the day? And so really having to get creative by assigning lead volunteers, and looking at things a little bit differently. How can we shuffle some of that responsibility to a spot that makes sense? People feel fulfilled, and they can serve, in a capacity that's meaningful for them, but also so helpful for such a tiny nonprofit. And so that was really kind of two, Patrick, and I'm just
you get two. You get carte blanche, I think, today on this episode.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really love about chatting with organizational leaders like yourself, the ones who decided that there was a gap and did it, was that you do trial by error, because there's no roadmap for this. And for those who are listening who have either started their own nonprofit or who are in the throes of beginning it, what's a tip or a trick that you would give, or a piece of advice that you'd give a nonprofit leader who's just starting out with the same big, hairy, audacious goals that you once had, the things that you might done differently, or the things you would double down on going forward?
I think what's been key to our success as an organization, and to me personally, is just straight out of the gate knowing that I don't know it all, and not being afraid to ask questions. As basic as that sounds, you have to be open to vulnerability and to feedback, and to learning in a way that might not always be comfortable for you. And so for me, I'm still everyday learning. I mean, I kind of say, like, I accidentally founded a nonprofit. I was just trying to do something good, and it got momentum, so asking a lot of questions and making sure that you get the right experts for the different fields that you just need to know, whether it's legal or accounting or whatever it is, reaching out to people who can help you, and not being afraid to just to rely on that, because people, they want to help. And so, so I think that's been like really helpful, and it requires a certain amount of, I think, courage and vulnerability, though, to do that.
One of the hardest things that I think a nonprofit leader can do is, I can't do it by myself. And it's a great reminder, Kelly. I'm grateful for you. So for those who are listening, and for those who are getting sent this, because I think you are going to like it, and you are really going to like it. How do people get a hold of you? How do people give to you? And then how do people volunteer? Give us all the details that we can get a hold of Hope Blooms.
Wonderful. So kind of our biggest resource out there is our website, of course, and that's just hopeblooms.org, HOPEBLOOMS.org. So all of our information can really be found on there. But outside of that, info@hopeblooms.org is our email address. Really, to get involved, there's a variety of different ways. We'd love for you to volunteer. So if you go out to our website, there's actually a link to volunteering where we've got a volunteer interest form. And then we also have our open volunteer events listed. So you can go out there and find those on the calendar. Additionally, if you're out there and you can't find a date, because we kind of fill up fast, we can always wiggle in a group. And so just feel free to email us. And if you've got a group or a team that you'd love to bring in, we'd love to see you. And then also just a variety of other volunteer, like ongoing opportunities, like helping us, do shop chores, clean jars, cut tags, put labels on, our mini jars, going to pick up flowers or deliver flowers, things like that. And then, of course, we also accept supply donations. So we have an Amazon wish list actually listed on our website as well under the donate. And that's where you can donate flowers, donate supplies. And then, of course, financial gifts are always appreciated and needed too. And there's a link to donate on our website, or our mailing addresses on our website as well. So
as soon as you are done, click on the show notes below and go click and donate and volunteer and do all the great stuff for Kelly.
And follow us on social.
Yeah,
we're really active on social media too. So follow us there.
All of the things. The most Instagrammable nonprofit I know of is the one you're listening to now. So go grab a spot, go grab a place to donate, and go support your Hope Blooms, because it's pretty awesome. Thanks so much for being a guest on the official Do Good Better podcast. Thanks so much for what you do. Thanks for the impact that you make. It's pretty fun to see you from start to finish do such amazing things in our community. So thank you. And thanks for being a guest on the official Do Good Better podcast.
Thank you so much.